Cool. So I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Trixta.com, Trixta. And Trixta allows you to use AI and automation to build software much more efficiently. It reduces the amount of time it takes to build software, and you can build it with less people. And it's a very aspirational thing. And a lot of my role really is to try and be a visionary and get the message out. So what I've decided to do, and I think of it as a side hustle, is I'm following your formula in a way. I'm busy starting to write a book. I'm starting a channel. I'm actually organized with Waitrim to start a channel from next week. Where I'll be talking about the future of software and what's going to happen. A lot of people don't realize that software is going to change. It's inevitable, and it's going to change quite quickly. But how do we get there from here? But I do have a question, and that is, I haven't done this before. I have written a book once before, but I haven't promoted in this kind of way, using social, using video, using live. What advice can you give me on how to start this and to get traction? Because initially I'll have no followers.
Yeah, so much advice. The very first thing, and I'm 60% through this book, the very first piece of advice I have for anybody trying to create any work that's meaningful is go read Ryan Holiday's book, The Perennial Seller. Legitimately, if you are a creator, it is one of the best books I've ever read in this regard. The next advice is find your area of authority and speak about it obsessively. Your LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, stop talking about anything else. All you need to focus on is talking about this vertical. Then let's pick Twitter as like a place for you to grow some following, for example. Find people in your industry that talk about the things you talk about, quote, tweet them, and then add your comment. Continue to do this 3-4 times a day, every day for the next year, and you'll build up an audience. Do that on key platforms, and added to that, don't be on all platforms. Figure out where your customer is, and then go there. It's a mistake I made with my last book. Oh, I need to be on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere. And then I was kind of nowhere. This time around, double down on LinkedIn. That's it. That's where you find me. All my stuff happens on LinkedIn. It's where my main port of call is. And I just talk about starting businesses and side hustles. That's it. You won't find me talking about anything else at all, ever. What I've told my students on my side hustle course is, you think social media is for photos of your breakfast and your eggs? You're wrong. Like, it's just not. Social media is a place to sell stuff. And if you aren't selling stuff, you're being sold to. So you may as well flip that script and become the person selling something. So that's kind of my main advice. Outside of that, Ryan Holiday's book will tell you that the best way to get traction is to write the best thing you can write, or be the best version of yourself that you can be. You can't be shit. If you have average opinions that everybody else has, you're never going to make it, right? No matter how many ads you push, no matter how much you tweet, you're just going to have average stuff. So taking the time to actually create something worth sharing is the key. It's the first step. It's table stakes to the game. And if you don't do that right, then no matter how much you do the marketing, it's not going to work. And then finally, stealing from Ryan Holiday directly, the thing that he blew my brain with is launches, if they fail, means that nobody saw your shit. So launch again. And if that launch doesn't work, launch again until you get traction. I did a Malcolm Gladwell writing course, and he said that 2 years after finishing his first book, did it become a bestseller. 2 years. Because every single event he went to, he was like, hey, you should buy my book. Hey, have you heard of Outliers? Hey, Outliers is amazing. For 2 years, he promoted and relaunched that book. Like, that's what it takes. So that's kind of what I've done on LinkedIn, is for a whole year, I posted every single day for last year, every day. And I grew my following from 3,000 to 13,000 in a year. Like, that's what it takes, consistency and patience.
So it's LinkedIn only, or LinkedIn plus Twitter for you?
LinkedIn is where I do most of my drive. Twitter is where I kind of play. It's my personal fun time, but still in relation to side hustles and startups and business. All of my social now is around a theme. Some of it's playful, some of it's like authoritative. Hey, this is my area of authority, and this is what I'm talking about.
That's cool. I mean, my main audience, I'm running out of time, but my main audience is the developers. And I'm talking about things they don't really necessarily believe. So I have to really convince them. Yeah. But I have great evidence.
Yeah, that's awesome. Maybe if no one else jumps on, then come back around. Okay, so 25 people watching. Mark is back on. But if you want to ask me something or talk to me about something, hit the join the queue button. I promise you it's more fun than it looks. Okay, so Developers, you were saying.
Yeah, I'm focusing on, because I think for me, the future of technology is that developers' roles are going to change radically. AI, automation, is going to change what we do, but it doesn't change the problem-solving mindset you need to build stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's about that. But there are things in history of technology that are indicating changes that are already happening and will happen. But it's really highlighting those things, and I think it's a good story, and it's definitely not the norm.
Yeah, and that's great. So, I mean, one of the other things that I think a lot of people get wrong is when they start getting themselves out there, they want to join the masses and just say stuff that's okay with everyone. And actually, it should be the complete other way. If you're not polarizing people, no one's going to remember you. So the apps, yeah, you have to. Like, people have to tell you you're an idiot. And I mean, for me, you've known of me and Nia for a while. Some people love me, some people hate me. That's the game. Like, if everybody loves you, no one remembers you. That's the number one thing that most people don't understand about social media. You remember the people who are out there and crazy and nuts and say things that you hate, because there's a whole group of people who love what they say. So that's a key thing. And then on the developer thing, a friend of mine, Dave Perrell, runs a sim racing company, and he's been banging on for ages with me about one thing. And the more he tells me, the more he's right. You have to pick an audience and only cater to them. The more niche, the better. And I think I posted on LinkedIn yesterday, niche is often mistaken for small. Niche doesn't mean small, it means specific. So in your thinking, let's say you're looking for developers who hate PHP. Rad. Just talk to those people, and eventually they will mushroom and become your disciples. If you talk to people who love PHP and try and sway them, it's not going to work. So niche is always better, especially when you're trying to polarize. And then while you're thinking of that niche audience, you have to go to exactly where they are. So for you, it might be Slack channels or Discord channels or Reddit or GitHub, like lots of innovative places that you can go to hit developers. Hit them and hit them hard in that one platform for like 3 months every day and see what happens. If that doesn't work, move to a new platform.
Yeah, totally. Okay, I like that a lot. I mean, I'm going to aim at the Elixir community. Cool. They reside in certain pools. But totally, I mean, I think the places you mentioned are perfect.
Cool, thanks.